Hey Siri, how many pounds is 66 kilograms?
66 kilograms is 145.51 pounds.
Fiona, you gotta move. You're gonna get squished. Okay, this may be the biggest unboxing I've ever done. And this video is going to be a little bit different, so don't go away. So every now and then I get a viewer who comments on my heavy breathing. Just happened recently. These are people who don't really know my backstory, and that I was a firefighter for 38 years, and I have a lung disease. So, yeah, sometimes I pant, especially when I'm dragging 145 pounds around the house. So if I'm breathing a little too heavily, sorry. I don't know what to say. I guess you don't need to watch if it's really driving you crazy. That's a perfect segue. It really is. Because look, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I have a bike in here. A really, really big bike. Okay? Now, my channel revolves around home and hobby. Fun stuff. Happy stuff. Vintage toys. Hobbies. Crafts. Neat things. Tech things. That kind of stuff. Today I'm bringing you a bike. Now, I brought you a bike before. I brought you my Schwinn lemon peeler, which very soon is going to get its makeover because the weather here is just about right optimum. So I brought you a bike before, but not like this before. I'm bringing you this bike for two reasons. First, it looks like a lot of fun. Really does. And second, fitness. Look, I'm fat. I'm fine with who I am, and I love myself, and I'm happy, but I'm fat. And coincidentally, that is not why my channel is called Fat Guy Productions, because even though it's spelled F-A-T, it's more about being P-H-A-T than anything else. So, but happy coincidence, I'm fat too, okay? But even though I'm fine with who I am, I realize I should be thinner, and I want to be, and I have been. And one thing that really worked for me a long time ago was bike riding. At one point, I rode in a 100-mile charity ride. I'd lost over 100 pounds. I was riding every day. I was really killing it. But when you get up to this size and this age, getting back on a bike isn't just as easy as walking out, jumping on it, and pedaling away. So, yeah, I saw this bike, and not only did it look fun, but it struck me as a way to get back into bike riding and maybe get some health going. Because this is not an ordinary bike. This is an e-bike. Now, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, an e-bike? Isn't that just like an electric motorcycle? What good's that going to do you? Well, the thing is, yes, you can ride this completely electrically, or you can pedal. And you can choose the amount of energy. So let's say you got 100% energy you need for this ride, okay? You can choose to put in 20% of that 100%. And the electric motor will do the other 80. You can do 50-50, stuff like that. So you can, what I'm saying is you can kind of nurse yourself into riding. All right? And you don't have to worry about getting too far from home or anything like that, because if you gas yourself, turn it on electric and just cruise home, okay? So what I'm seeing here is an opportunity to get back out on a bike, using fun and the assistive capabilities of an e-bike to get me riding again and maybe bring some more fitness into my life. So I'm going to bring you a bunch of videos about this, starting with today, which is the unboxing. Now, this is a bike from Wired, and I want you to see this. This is pretty clever. They put a picture of a TV on here, and I'm assuming they did that because they thought to themselves, well, nobody's going to stand on the side of it if it's a TV in here. So they put a picture of a TV on here to maybe get them to handle it a little bit more carefully than if it was a picture of a bicycle. So this is an e-bike from Wired. It is gets great reviews. Everybody, even the big crazy bike riders, love this thing. Okay, it's not just for beginners or anything like that. This is a bike that will suit everybody's needs. So I reached out to Wired and asked them, hey, could you send me a bike? You know, why not? Ask first. The worst they can do is say no. And they said no graciously and offered me an affiliate link and stuff like that, which I accepted. But I end up paying for the bike myself. And I'll put the price right down here. You know, you have to understand everybody's got a limited amount on their budgets. You know, and you can't just send a bike to every Joe Schmo who asks. You know, you got to kind of be selective. And I guess they didn't appreciate the idea of how their product might be able to be used by a guy like me to get back out on the road and follow a new path to fitness. So I bought one. It looked good enough to me that I went ahead and bought one, and I really liked the idea of using this to find my way to a little bit of a more healthy position. So that's what I'm going to do. You're going to get the full review on the bike itself, but you're also going to see if it can actually help me find fitness. That's the goal. That's what I'm hoping for. So my dog is doing weird stuff. Okay. So anyhow, this is from Wired. I paid for it myself. And we're going to take a look at it. Now look, there's a million people out there doing reviews on Wired's bikes. I'm not going to go into all the specs and stuff. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's fast. It can do like 40 miles an hour, which I'm not doing because that freaks me out, the idea of doing 40 miles an hour on a bicycle. It's a big bike, so it can handle me. It can handle up to 350 pounds, and I'm not that, so I can ride this. By all reports, it's very comfortable, and, you know, so, yeah. Let's get this out. All right, I'm not really entirely sure how to get this big thing out of here. Now, I want to tell you, first things first, good job by Wired. I ordered this, and it got here in 2 days, and that's with FedEx being FedEx. In other words, it didn't get here when they said it would get here. It was supposed to get here yesterday, and it didn't make it. So even with FedEx delaying it, it still got here in 2 days. Pretty impressive, if you ask me. You know, I'm going to just have to cut. Cut. Where did I put my knife? Okay, I've lost my knife. I found my knife. All right. So, 2 days to get here, with FedEx delaying it a day. And by all estimations, this is a great bike. And what I've heard is that it's a great bike, not just for experienced riders, but new riders too. Anybody I've heard could use and enjoy this bike. Whew! Oh, doggy. All right, so massive zip ties. You're going to need snippers to really, seriously. There's the handlebars. So I had a Fiona down there. That's Fiona. And so let me tell you a little bit about the bike. It is a dual battery bike, meaning it can go further than your average bike. It has very powerful batteries and motors, meaning this thing can do like up to 40 miles an hour. Now, as I mentioned, the notion of doing 40 miles an hour on a bicycle terrifies me. I will not be doing that. You can set it so it won't. So you can't accidentally get going that fast. You can actually set it that way. So that's what I'm going to be doing, most likely. It is a big bike. It's a heavy bike. It's not a bike you're going to really want to do a lot of solo riding on. Okay? Not to say you can't, but you're probably going to want to, have at least some pedal assist going on as you ride this thing. So, it has a lot of range. It has a lot of power. It's going to be comfortable. Easy adjusting seat so you can go up and down. It's got an air suspension to make it more comfortable. Dual batteries. Built-in bike rack. And this is where the second battery goes. So, yeah, a lot of nice features you would probably only find on a much more expensive bike. It checks a lot of boxes. I don't mind telling you, this is not the easiest thing in the world to put together because there's a lot of reasons. First of all, there's no instructions, but I know a little bit about bikes, so I'm not totally in the dark here. But there are things that make this really a challenge, and it's nice to have a spare helping hands. For instance, without Reggie, I never would have gotten that front tire on. I guess I could have turned the bike over, but I always hate doing that on a brand new bike. I really just do. It's just something I'm not a fan of doing. But I'm pretty much there. Thread these pedals on. And then this back fender is not right. I don't know where this is supposed to go to yet. But anyhow, so here it is. The Wired Freedom dual battery e-bike. I can see why Reggie is like, are you sure you didn't buy a motorcycle? Because this almost has that feel of a motorcycle. It is massive. So here's what I'm going to do. You don't need to see me figure that out. I'm going to get this figured out, tweak a couple things here, and then get it all charged up. And when you see it next, we're going to take it for its maiden voyage. So for you, just a few minutes. For me, maybe a day or two, but don't go away. All right, everybody. So here I am with the Wired Freedom bike, and it's giant. And there's a problem. I didn't see this one coming. Watch this. Okay, I'm going to show you what the problem is. I cannot get on this. I can't get my leg up and over this seat like this. Okay? So my wife and I were looking at it, trying to figure out how that. See, I'll be fine standing over it, but I can't get on it. So what do? We figured out if I take it across the street to the curb, I can get on it off the curb. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to take this, and we're going to go on a little ride, and take you along, and yeah, that's the plan. We're going to go for a little ride, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you what I think about the Wired Freedom here. All right. So here we are on the Wired Freedom. I'm doing about 10 miles an hour. I'm still in just the second throttle level, 11, 12, 12.2 miles an hour, which seems about right for me. This thing is supposed to be able to go over 40. I don't know that I need to be going over 40 at all ever. So that's where I'm coming at. Okay, so we're riding again today, and we've got something done differently. So when you get to the wrap up, I'm going to say something about it, the bike feeling a little underpowered, and I think I mentioned it. It's because I left it in class 2 settings. Well, that is why it felt a little underpowered. You put it in, you turn that class 2 setting off, and this thing it'll set your hair on fire, man. I almost can't pedal it because it goes so fast. So if I'm going to pedal, I'm going to have to keep class 2 on. But man, this thing just flies. And so I wanted to take it for a ride and turn class 2 off. Easy enough to do. And then we'll take it for a quick ride here. So that's all we're doing is just going for a ride. Hi. So yeah, this thing, look at this. I almost popped a wheelie. Okay, my son came over and wanted to ride it, and he complained. He said, it's not fast enough. Well, it is. And even if you pedal, okay, I'm barely pedaling, and it just takes off like a bolt. So, yeah, this thing is really, really fast. So that whole underpowered thing, ignore that, because that's a bunch of hooey. You turn the class 2 off, and this thing is a lightning. More often than not, I suspect I'm going to have class 2 on, because the idea is I want to pedal. If I don't want to pedal, I will probably turn off class 2 and just use the throttle. So if I'm just going for like a ride or something like that. But generally speaking, my plan is to keep it in class 2. Okay, so we're back, and what am I thinking? Well, I had a lot of fun, except at the park, no matter how much I was honking my horn or ringing my bell, the walkers, they got their earbuds in, they could care less. They're just in the way, so it was a problem there. I'm going to have to find other paths to ride. But I had a lot of fun. The old booty is going to need some working out to get a little more comfortable. And yeah, it's giant, and I have to use the curb to get on and off, but that was the only issue I had. But be warned, I'm 5'11", okay? And part of the problem is my age and my legs and stuff. There's a lot of issues that are just mine. But just be aware that I am 5'11", and I have a hard time getting on this massive bike, all right? Once on it, it felt great. Now, some instances it felt a little underpowered, and I think that's because I still have it set in the lowest possible settings just to get comfortable with it. I will be boosting that up just so when I have a need, I can get in and out of trouble as fast as possible. So other than that, I really love the bike, and I hope you loved this video. If you did, please give it a giant thumbs up. Click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have one of these bikes and ride it, we'd love to hear about it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I hope the rest of your day is amazing and beautiful like mine is. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.